but effective.
Welcome to Boring but Effective. We are here on site at the Grandview Hotel here in Fairfield. We have Evan Webster with us. Evan is from the Webster Survey Group and he is the current Institute of Surveyors Victoria President. The Webster Surveying Group was formerly known as Neil A. Webster and Associates, and it dates back to the 1850s, believe it or not, when Evan's great-great-grandfather, Kate Webster, was the first to survey many parts of Victoria, and that work continues to guide surveyors to this day. Amazing start. So Evan began his career at the age of 6 holding the pole in the field for his dad, and then in 2011 he joined full-time after doing many large-scale residential property divisions in Melbourne, and globally he's worked at Heathrow Airport and the Royal Mile in Edinburgh, so just to name a couple. As we mentioned, President of the Institute of Surveyors Victoria, and he held volunteer roles at the Parkside Junior Footy Club, Alvington Junior Soccer Club and Alvington United Cricket Club. Evan, welcome.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me. And, you couldn't have picked a better location.
It's a good spot here. I love it. It's so good. Hey, now first of all, what do surveyors actually do, and what sort of types of surveying that Webster Survey Group?
All right. So to destroy a few myths that are out there, a lot of people think surveyors are taking. All we do is take photos. People see the tripods by the side of the road. They're normally pretty bright colours, often yellow or orange. We actually do a lot of measuring. So there's a lot of different types of surveying. There's mining surveying, so people who go and work in the mines. There's hydrographic, that's on boats, mapping the seabed and that sort of thing. We do cadastral surveying, so that's to do with title boundaries, so anything to do with a subdivision. If someone's building a new fence, we'll go and mark out where their legal extent of their property is. So then say for a new fencing or if there's a boundary dispute.
There's interesting, I just read about one down the Port Fairy Golf Club and the state government having a bit of a dispute there. You potentially could have fixed that if you had been involved earlier?
Maybe, yeah, I'm sure we would have. So yeah, I'm a licensed surveyor, so there's only 400 licensed surveyors in Victoria, which isn't many, so only a licensed surveyor can sign a cadastral plan. So by cadastral plan, I mean a plan of subdivision. If we create easements, remove easements, amendments of title, such as adverse possession, so people occupy land for more than 15 years and they can prove exclusivity of that land. We do all the documentation signed off by a licensed surveyor. So yeah, 400 is not a lot. So for every apartment building, every townhouse development, it has to have a licensed surveyor involved. I like the saying first in, last out. So for any development, we're normally first on site. So that's to do what we call the initial survey, or feature and level survey, where we capture the existing conditions on the site. So working out where all the trees are, where the buildings are. So for things like, say you want to do a renovation. So last thing people want is to have overlooking issues. So windows built faces their living room. So we've got to go and capture all the existing buildings, windows heights. All that information gets fed to a designer who can then design an appropriate layout for the site. If it is a subdivision, then once everything is approved, everything's built, we're then back on site right at the end doing our documentation for the subdivision. So this is documentation gets approved by Land Use Victoria. It used to be called the Titles Office. It's the government body that looks after all the property ownership. So yeah, that's sort of the cadastral world. We also do engineering surveying, so that's setting out structures, buildings, services, roads, making sure they're in the right position, built at the right levels. So it's quite a varied profession, really. Yeah, a lot more than just being on the street corners taking photos.
Yeah, standing there holding the pole and wearing the high-vis. There's a bit more to it than just hanging around. So. No, that sounds cool. And there's only 400 of you. That's
of the licensed surveyors, yeah. Right. So we've got at our firm 4 licensed surveyors. Not everyone's a licensed surveyor. They can still do a lot of the work, but in terms of signing off, it's got to be done by a licensed surveyor.
They need the professionals with the right paperwork. Yeah. Now I know you're a Mad Bombers fan.
I am.
It's been a bit of a drought in recent times, but hey, tell me how did you get the gig at the Essendon Footy Club for the redevelopment of Windy Hill, and tell us, the oval refurbishment, the existing grandstands.
Yeah.
What was the Webster Survey Group involved in that?
So someone's been looking at our website because it is front and centre because it's my favourite job.
We do some research on this show occasionally, but
yeah. Look, I couldn't believe my luck. Look, we've done work at a lot of quite iconic sites around Melbourne. An architect phoned me up one day. I was actually on a site measuring up for an apartment subdivision, and I missed his call, and he left a message saying, would you be interested in doing some work at Windy Hill? Well, once I heard that, I dropped everything I was doing, rang him straight back, and indicated that I might just be. So yeah, it was, timing is everything. It was someone who we've been doing some recent work for. Their architectural firm had an opportunity to do some work for Essendon. His boss at the time had actually designed the Great Southern Stand, so and been, I think, vice president at Essendon. So they were heavily involved with Essendon. It just so happened, we were doing some surveying work for them at the time. Essendon were looking to a refurbishment of Windy Hill. So for anyone who's been out to Windy Hill, not a lot has changed since the BFL days. It's quite, I think it's great. It's like going back in a time capsule to when my old man took me there just once. I was probably 8 years old. I still remember it, watching Essendon Richmond. Essendon actually won that day, which is great.
It would have been a while ago then.
It was a long time ago, Back in the glory days, probably the reason why I go for Essendon, because they were good back then. So that was in the very late 80s. Not a lot's changed. So Essendon's looking to do some refurbishment of the arena. So redo the grandstands. There's 3 grandstands out there: Dick Reynolds, Alan Hurd, and another one. The name escapes me, but it's planned to be knocked over, perhaps.
Turning 3 into 2.
Yeah. So it was quite surreal. So I prepared the quote, and we had to basically capture the existing conditions. So going back to what I said before, we were first on site. We had a consultancy panel meet on site, so all different people. Myself as a surveyor, engineers, civil engineers, structural engineers, just a few different trades and that sort of thing. So we were tasked with capturing the existing conditions. So we had to do a survey of the oval, of the grandstands. We had to go in to the Dick Reynolds grandstand and the Alan Hurd grandstand, and we took a laser scanner. What a laser scanner does, it whizzes around, it captures about 1 million points per second.
Wow.
So we're sitting here in the grand view. If we had the scanner in here, it would be like looking at a photo, but everything is just 3D points that you can put into software, CAD software, and you can interrogate and measure. So that was for the architects. So basically they could have a model, a 3D model of the grandstands to then work out how they would refurb them. So it was pretty cool. So we did a survey outside, captured the oval, the extremities of the grandstands, and then all the internal areas of the grandstands. And then the idea is that information then gets fed to the architects. They can then come up with a design for the new modern Windy Hill.
So were there heritage overlays that you had to take into consideration, or?
Not for Windy Hill. I guess it's about maintaining the integrity. So a lot of history. To me, it's still the spiritual home of the Bombers.
That's great. And they're all finished now. They're all done, or they're still going?
Well, actually, hasn't started yet. So they're still. I'm not quite sure what's happened, but I know Essendon were seeking some funding at the time, and a few things going on. So they've probably got bigger problems at the moment with their win-loss record. But hopefully, one day soon.
Priorities of getting coach and players and other things, as opposed to the development. Well, they're out at Tullamarine now. Anyway.
I know. It's a shame. It'd be nice if they're still in Essendon.
It must be an amazing job to do. Now, what's some of the other projects you've worked on? What are you working on now? And what's sort of some of the future projects you'd love Webster Surveying Group to be involved with? So
we're working on a few. We've got in at the moment some what we call greenfield subdivisions. These are out in the sort of outer suburbs of Melbourne, like Beveridge, Tarnee, where land is cut up into individual lots and then sold to people who can build their houses. So we're doing a few of them. A couple of apartment buildings, so yeah, doing all the documentation to create the individual titles. One we did was just up the road next to Fairfield Station.
Oh, yeah.
That was for clients. So it's a few years ago now, but yeah, I had to measure up all the building, do all the documentation for that. So that's one of my favourites because it's close to home.
That's a 7-star green.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Hip v height, really good, really good developers they are.
Yeah.
A couple other we've done work at State Netball and Hockey Centre.
Yep.
You know, a lot of landmarks in the city. Really, clients take you to all these interesting spots. Subdivisions are my favourite. I think that's what I'm trained in.
Yep.
So yeah, anything to do with creating new titles, that's what I like doing.
Yeah.
A few other ones. We might have them on the website. Some of the greenfields ones, with there being 500 lots plus. They're fun. They go for a number of years, so they're really good work to do. So again, involved from the start to the end, and that keeps us busy. As well as generally bigger jobs you sort of remember, but the smaller jobs, for your mum and dad type developers, they're just as important. You've got to take as much care doing them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. If you're looking for a licensed surveyor, hit up Evan at Webster Surveying Group. He's the man. He's nothing too big or too small for these guys. Hey, thanks for coming on and having a chat with us about the Webster Survey Group and what you guys do. And now we move on to the next bit, the good fun bit.
The tough questions.
Here we go. Now, Evan, what's your favourite food?
This is actually an easy one. Lasagna.
Lasagna?
Yeah.
Well, my boy Iggy, I reckon
I could.
He had about 3/4 of a 1.8 kilo job last night, so I reckon if he's around with you, look out with.
I could eat it every day of the week, I reckon.
Oh, he's lasagna. There you go. Easy.
Preferably with accompanied by a dark beer.
A dark beer. A stout.
Yeah.
Nice. There you go. All right.
Stout or porter.
Beautiful. Okay. Now, last question.
Yeah.
Can you name one person, living or deceased, in the history of the universe, so you'd love to come around and have a lasagna with you?
Yeah, okay. So I didn't want to start thinking about this question too early on. I thought I didn't want to think too hard because I wanted it to actually come naturally. So there was a bit of a short list. There were a few early explorers, early surveyors.
Yep.
A few sports people from, back in the day.
Yep.
As you know, I like to have a bit of a hit on the skins, on the drums, so a couple of drummers. Larry Mullen Jr. was one.
Yep.
From U2, he's probably my favourite drummer.
There you go.
One that you might have thought I'd say is maybe someone who's been earmarked maybe as the next Essendon coach.
Yes.
Find out, a bit about what happened.
A previous Essendon coach who's might be on the way back.
Yeah, that's him.
We've had him before. He's been nominated before.
Oh, really? Get the real, hear it from the source.
Yeah.
Someone I went for, because maybe, I don't think it'll ever happen, but he is still alive and he is in the country, or he's an Australian. I actually went for Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and the reason I went for Daniel Ricciardo is I think he was just such a cool dude.
Yep.
And I'd like to know, I think there's not too many sports in the world where you're under that much pressure, high pressure doing F1. Yeah. How did you stay so cool?
Yeah.
And, in such an intense sport. Yeah. And he was so likeable.
Oh, Danny Rick, the boy from WA, he's just in a different car at a different kind of time. He might have won the world championship.
Yeah. We should really be drinking these out of doing shoeies.
Doing shoeies for Danny Rick.
So he was who I came up with. Now, if you'd asked me if I was here another day, I think these sort of things you get different ideas, but he's one. He comes naturally, someone I'd want to meet. I think he'd be good to have a beer with. Just seemed like a good human being.
That's super cool. The only other thing I was thinking is if there was an Essendon Premiership player who was a drummer, then maybe they'd get a look in as well.
Yeah, I don't know many who were drummers. As a kid though, they used to take me to training. We'd get in the change rooms.
Oh, nice.
Back in those days, it's very different now. My autograph book is full of all those legends like Van der Haar and Tim Watson, Paul Salmon. All legends.
Brilliant. Hey, thanks, great man.
All right.
Great to see you. Thank you. And as I mentioned, here's the contact info for Webster Survey Group. If you need any surveying done, hit up Evan. Financial planning, that's me. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cool.
Boring, but effective.